Welcome to the deep dive. So you've brought us a fascinating stack of sources today that take us on, what, a 400-year crash course through philosophy.
It's a big one, yeah. Our mission is to really get a quick handle on two totally opposing worldviews.
On one side, we have René Descartes and his 17th century ideas of fragmentation.
And on the other, Dr. Pramod Ambadasrao Pawar's 21st century philosophy of, well, absolute unity.
This feels like a major pivot point.
It is. Descartes, he really established the fundamental problem of the modern age, the mind-body split. Res cogitans versus res extensa.
And that framework has defined so much: medicine, science.
Our very idea of the self for centuries. So we need to understand how Dr. Pawar claims to resolve this profound separation.
Okay, let's start with Descartes. His goal was to find undeniable certainty, and he gets there through something called methodological doubt.
Right. He questioned absolutely everything.
And he pushes that skepticism to its absolute limit with the famous evil demon hypothesis.
Imagining a deceiving, omnipotent being, what did that ultimate isolation actually prove?
It proved the existence of the thinker.
Exactly. Even if a demon is deceiving you about the chair you're sitting on, it can't deceive you about the fact that you are doubting.
And to doubt is to think.
Which gives us cogito ergo sum.
I think, therefore I am. But this is where the fragmentation really begins, right? The reward for that certainty was this massive split.
A huge ontological split. You have the thinking self, the res cogitans, which is immaterial, indivisible.
And then everything else, the physical world, the res extensa, which includes your own body, is just treated as material, mechanical.
And that's the key legacy. You get this philosophical alienation. Descartes, maybe inadvertently, turns the self into a kind of lonely island.
Which leads to medical reductionism. The body is just a machine to be fixed.
Precisely. It's disconnected from the consciousness that's supposedly running it.
Okay, so that sets the stage perfectly for Dr. Pawar. The sources introduce his trans-deconstruction theory.
Yeah, and they frame it as a move that goes, I'm quoting here, beyond dissolution to a powerful recentering.
A recentering that's aiming to locate a final signified? What exactly is it trying to recenter?
It's the mechanism for collapsing that Cartesian alienation. Unlike traditional deconstruction, which kind of says meaning is always shifting.
Endlessly.
Trans-deconstruction claims that this intense, accelerated process of interpretation, that's the transit part, ultimately points us back to a single, unified reality.
And that brings us to monism, a rejection of duality in favor of oneness.
Yes, and this is where the mathematical metaphysics come in.
The formula, text MT2 equals 0. So M is monism, T is trans-deconstruction. But why does it all equal 0?
Well, that zero, or shunyawada, is the whole point. For Pawar, zeroness isn't a void or an empty nothingness.
So it's not nothing.
It's the opposite. It's the point of infinite potential where all those binaries, mind, body, self, other, they just collapse.
Think of it less like an empty slate.
And more like pure, undifferentiated source energy. It's the point where Descartes' split just dissolves into an absolute unity.
That makes the modern stakes much clearer. You connect this dualistic mindset to the digital dictatorship critique.
Absolutely. The argument is that this old machine-man dichotomy threatens to dehumanize the entire globe.
So how does Pawar suggest we fight back against this technological pressure, which is inherently Cartesian?
The monistic view demands we stop treating the self as separate from the world we build. Pawar advocates for self-mastery over machine mastery.
Okay, and how do we do that?
He calls for restrained technological integration. His most radical suggestion, really, is that to preserve our human essence, education needs to operate with
A mere 10% use of technology.
just 10%. It's a bold claim about what's needed for human survival.
It's such a striking movement, from the isolation of doubt in the 17th century to this prescriptive path toward interconnectedness in the 21st, from fragmentation to unity.
And that brings us to his ultimate mathematical vision for the listener's own journey. $1, 1 equals a $1. The dualistic world, the past, it all dissolves. That's the $1.
Into the absolute unity, the 0.
Which is the moment of rebirth, the final $1. So if that journey means dissolving our own internal binaries, maybe you should consider this.
Final thought for you to take away.
What contradiction in your own life? That internal plus dollar of attachment and the $1 of detachment needs to collapse into that dollar, that oneness for you to achieve your final $1, a rebirth into unity, something to contemplate.